Hello there, I'm Lenny McGill, and thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about the LaserMax internal laser system that replaces the guide rod assembly of your Glock to give you a laser sighting device. It's really cool. What's really neat about this device is that it requires no external attachments to the gun. The laser is actually inside of the guide rod that they give you to replace. So if you check out a standard guide rod, this is our stainless steel guide rod, with the LaserMax, you'll see it's basically the same identical thing, except they've built a laser into this guide rod. And you'll see at the very end there, where we have a screw, they have a laser lens that will push out a laser. And then on the other side is the red cap with a small copper contact, and you can probably see that right there, and we'll talk about that when we go into the installation. And this is where the batteries go. So first of all, a couple things about this LaserMax. It really is a proven system. It's been in use by law enforcement for several years, 7 or 8 years. I know we've sold these things for about 7 or 8 years ourselves, and we don't ever get one back. There's never one that's defective or broken. Every once in a while people have some questions, and that's what I'm doing this video for, is I want to answer the questions. But the bottom line is the advantage of this is that it's a built-in laser system that requires no special holsters. It's easy to put on, it's easy to put off. Some of the questions people ask all the time, and you're probably asking yourself the same thing, is, well, how do you change the batteries and where are they? This red cap is simply that. It is a cap, and I'm going to go ahead now and if you look at it real closely, let me put my glasses on, you'll see right here, get my pointer out, right here is a small indentation, very, very tiny. And you may not even be able to see it on camera. And basically that's the only way you get to line this cap up. The cap basically just pops right off. So you get in there and just pop it off like that. Okay? And again, there's a little O-ring around there, which is a good idea. And there are the batteries, and the plus side of the battery is up. Okay, and it takes 3 of these batteries, and they are put together. I'm going to just put them out here in my hand like this. They're put together with plastic just like that. And they tell you not to get any oil or grease on those things, so I'm just going to put them right back in. And that's how the batteries are installed, and that's how they're removed and replaced. Now, we want to put this cap back on. It's a little tricky because you have to line up this very small, and again, right there it is. I don't know if you can see it. It's a very small little indentation there with the extra piece of plastic up here on the cap. So there it is right there. And I'll see if I can get some light on it so you can actually see it. Right there, there's this indentation. There, you can see it right there, the ridge. Okay, so you got a chance to see that now. Let me go ahead and get my big fingers all over this and see if I can just pop it on. It's a little bit weird because it doesn't really snap into place, it just goes on. And there it is. It is now in place. Okay, installation. Fairly easy process. There's 3 parts that come with this, actually 4. One is an installation tool, very nice, and any other punch will work, and I'll show you how the tools that I like to use when I do this. They give you a brand new slide stop lever that's extended and colorized. So on the back side here, the side that goes facing toward the shooter, you'll notice the ridge right there and the 2 yellow indicators. And again, that's facing towards you when you actually have this installed in the gun. And they tell you that the laser is in the on or off position. And then, of course, they also give you a slide stop spring, a replacement. And if you'll notice, this slide stop is a little bit different, has 2 little notches on the bottom there, and those interact with this piece right here, basically, some way, in that way. And basically what happens is this little nub right there will actually, when you push it across, it actually lines up and makes contact, and that's what turns this on and off. When you push it in, it actually goes on. And I'll demonstrate that once we get through the installation. Okay, so that's what comes with the kit. Comes in a nice little box with instructions. And I'll tell you that this company is very responsive if you have any problems or difficulties. The sight, one of the questions we always get is pre-aligned. Now think about it. It's basically a straight laser. It sits just below the bore. So it's going to go straight out, and they say it is aligned at 20 feet to be basically, dead on with your sights, which is, basically good for combat self-defense shooting. So there are no adjustment available for this LaserMax. It is sighted in from the factory. And people always ask about installation. So the installation, like I said, is very simple. First and foremost, we want to make sure the gun is unloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure the magazine's dropped out, which already is. I'm going to go ahead and pull the slide back and inspect inside the chamber, make sure there's no rounds inside. And I'm going to squeeze the trigger in a safe direction. All right. Then we're going to go through our simple Glock disassembly procedure, which you've all seen me do 1,000 times. Off comes the top, and there's the guide rod itself. We're going to replace that. So let's do that first. Simply grab the guide rod, compress it a little bit, and out it comes. Now we're going to take the LaserMax guide rod, and we're going to orientate this little wing that they have on the back of this thing upwards, up from this position. All right, it would be down when it's facing the gun, but when we're looking at it now, it's going to be up. And so I'm going to get this situated, get the lens situated in the middle there, and then I'm going to compress it and push it through, making sure that that wing is straight up and down, and then get it situated in place. And make sure that it's all the way seated onto the bottom. There it is. And you'll see the laser's on right now, okay, because it's making contact with the steel part. So that makes it completes the contact, and that's when the laser's on. But you'll see when you actually put it together how it works. Now the next part is to put in the slide stop lever, the extended slide stop lever they give you with this special little notches on it, and the new slide stop spring. So we're going to go ahead and take, we can use their punch if you wanted to, but I prefer to use a couple other punches because my punch set is a little bit more complete, and I find it's a little easier. To remove the existing slide stop lever, we're going to go ahead and take our punch and we're going to push this slide stop spring down. It's captured right now by this spring. The spring is pushing up on it. So what I need to do is to press that spring and let that piece just drop right out. So I'm going to go in there with my punch, and I'm going to aggressively push down very hard, and out drops the slide stop. Now, sometimes it doesn't come out that easy. This one was simple because I've done it a bunch of times. Sometimes you have to really push down and finagle. Sometimes you want to push it through with your thumb. Just a little point to keep in mind. The next thing to do is to remove that spring, the factory spring. And I found it's easiest to do with this little set of screwdrivers, is to get in there with that little flathead screwdriver and get underneath that spring and then pry it open. So basically, you want to get back to the very back of this thing, back here. Let me just show you real quick. You want to get back here and then pry up. If you pry from here, you're just going to bend it. So you want to get back to the very back where it bends down into the frame, because this part actually sticks into the frame. There's a hole that that accepts this. You want to get back here and then pry up. So I put this screwdriver all the way in and then just pry up, and out it comes. Fairly easy. Okay. And once I get it started, then it'll just drop right out. So there's the factory. And there's the extended chrome one that I have, chrome slide stop lever that I've got. And now, to complete the cycle, we're going to go ahead and put the LaserMax piece in. And what you want to do is you want to kind of find this thing. There's a hole back there, and seat itself just like that. And it'll find itself a hole. But now, to push it down, I like to take a fatter punch and actually get on top of this thing. And what I'll do with my finger is push this forward, so it doesn't move back and forth, and just push down with the punch. And then it all of a sudden finds itself and it's seated. Now you take your little smaller punch and really just make sure you've got it down where it's supposed to go. Okay, there you go. Now the next step is to install the LaserMax slide stop lever. And again, you'll notice that the notch faces towards you, all right? And the yellow indicators also face towards you. These little nipples go down, okay? So this is how it orientates itself in the gun. So I'll come in here from the right-hand side and get it started just about a quarter of the way and take my punch again. I've got to get that spring out of the way, all right? So there we go. Push it down, push the spring down, and then push my slide stop lever in. And sometimes it's best to get it up here next to your body. And there we go. Now let it go. And what I want to make sure that I have is the spring action, just like that. Okay? Now, we're basically done. So what we want to do now is take our frame, or excuse me, our slide, and put it onto our frame. And to do so is the same way you would do with a normal guide rod. Get it all lined up and rack it back, and there it is. Now you notice that the laser is off because they've got it set up that once you install it in the gun, the contact is lost. But to turn the laser on, all we want to do is reach over here either with your finger or your thumb on the other side and push it in. Now this could be done during the draw. You're coming up with your finger, push it in, and there's the laser. All right, see it? Or it could be done from the other side, coming up as you're grabbing the grip, push with your thumb, and there's the laser. Okay, that's one way to do it. Now, another way that I've found is that you could actually access it with the other hand and just push through like so, and there it is. Or, again, practice to the point where when you're coming up with your draw, you're using your index finger, you're popping it on, and it's on by the time you get up top. So it's a fairly easy thing to do. It just takes a little bit of practice. Remember, the off position is in the center. On is either way. You can push it with your thumb, on, off in the middle, or push it with your index finger, on, and then off in the middle again, just like that. So it's a, once it's installed, it's basically just acts as a normal guide rod and, you know, can lock itself back, release it, bang, everything works the same. And then when you want or need a laser, you can just push it on and you're ready to go. So this LaserMax, I think, is the best option for a tactical laser because of the fact that it's always there. You don't need a special holster. There's nothing dangling on the outside of the gun which would interfere with the normal operation or the profile or the normal grip or anything else. And it's battle-proven. I mean, it's been out in the field for 8-10 years now. A lot of law enforcement officers are using it, and it does work. And you know what? They've got great customer service. So that is the LaserMax. I hope I've answered most of your questions. If you have some more, email me, and I'll be happy to discuss anything you need to know about the LaserMax for your Glock. Thanks for watching.